Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Valley Fever Sports Network. I am your host, Daniel, and welcome back. I did not think we would be getting here this far when I started the first playoff preview, which was the wild card series against the Milwaukee Brewers. But here we are previewing the National League Championship Series. The Diamondbacks made it. What a division series for the D-backs. That was maybe one of the most fun playoff series I've watched, period, for teams that I root for. It was a really fun series. I mean, that 4 home run inning in Game 3 is maybe like a top 5 Arizona sports moment all time. And the series is incredible as well. Rocking around Kershaw, Bobby Miller, and Lance Lynn. And the pitching pitched great as well. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the National League Championship Series against the Philadelphia Phillies, who beat the Atlanta Braves 3-1 in their National League Division Series. Phillies and Diamondbacks match up pretty well so far in this postseason. Very similar teams. Phillies have played one more game than the D-backs. Both of them were wild card teams. But they're very similar. Both have 13 homers. Phillies have 2 more RBIs this postseason. The total bases, however, over 30, about 25-30 total bases more for the Phillies. D-backs have drawn 2 less walks. They've struck out a lot less. They've struck out about 13 less. They've actually stolen less bases than the Phillies. That's kind of a thing that we've been monitoring this postseason, is the fact that the D-backs run game hasn't really gotten off to the start. I have a worse batting average, not by much, 262 to 274 in favor of the Phillies. On base is about the same, 354, 347. Slugging, only .008 point difference, and the OPS very similar for the Phillies and D-backs. The pitching as well is very similar. The overall pitching, the Phillies have a 1.53 ERA, D-backs a 2.20 ERA. 4 saves, so the D-backs do have more saves. The Phillies have pitched more. Obviously, they've played an extra game. Phillies have given up 2 less hits, 2 less earned runs. They've given up 1 more homer, walked 4 less than the D-backs, struck out 8 more. So obviously, so far with those stats, the Phillies have looked better in the playoffs than the D-backs have had. You could say they played an easier wild card opponent in the Miami Marlins, while the D-backs had to play Milwaukee Brewers, who won the National League Central. And then bullpen-wise, Philly, again, 1.45 ERA out of the bullpen, D-backs 1.77. Bullpen for the Phillies has given up 1 less hit, 1 less earned run, given up 1 more homer, walked the same amount. D-backs bullpen has struck out more guys so far this postseason than the Philly bullpen. So obviously 2 very well-matched teams so far this postseason. Obviously you can say that the Phillies played an easier opponent in the wild card, but even then, it was just absolute domination in the wild card. And then you can even say that in the division series, kind of absolute domination of the Atlanta Braves. Of course, Game 1 today, Zach Gallen. As I'm recording this, we actually don't know who's starting Game 1 for the Phillies. I'm going to assume it's Zach Wheeler. But Zach Gallen had 1 start against Philly this year in Philadelphia. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, struck out 3, did not give up a homer. So he had a pretty middling start. D-backs did end up losing that game 5-6. Merrick as well also had 1 start against Philly. That one was in Arizona. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, a homer. D-backs did end up losing that one 4-3. So obviously kind of middle of the road starts for both Gallen and Kelly there in their this season against Philadelphia. 1 start, small sample size, possibility of starting 2 games for both of them. Brandon Pfaadt did not have a single start this year against Philadelphia. Of course, that means no career starts for Pfaadt, as this is his rookie year. Zach Wheeler, on the other hand, had 2 starts against Arizona this year. 1 in Philly, 1 at Arizona. His first start in Philly, he went 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, a walk, 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 homers. That one was in Philly. He lost that one 4-3. And then when he pitched later in about middle of June, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, no homers. That one was at Chase Field. That score was 15-3, so a total rout there by the Philadelphia Phillies. Aaron Nola started 1 game. That was in June, the same series that Zach Wheeler pitched in. That one was at Chase Field. He went 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, and a homer. And Philly did end up winning that one 5-4. So obviously some pretty good starts there from Wheeler and Nola. So that's going to be tough. They've pitched great this postseason. Zach Wheeler, we've seen the stats. He's one of the best postseason pitchers ever. So that's going to be tough for the D-backs to overcome. Ranger Suarez, their 3rd starter, who has also been kind of like a postseason where he comes out in the postseason, does a lot better than he did in the regular season. Had 2 starts against Arizona this year. First start in May in Philadelphia, went 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts and a homer. He actually did end up winning that one 6-5. And then later in June, the same series that Nola and Wheeler pitched in, won that game 4-3, went 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. So it obviously seems that Ranger Suarez might have the D-backs number. We've seen him in the playoffs. He's been great for the Phillies. We don't know the Game 4 starters. I'm going to assume Taijuan Walker is probably going to get Game 4 for Philly in Arizona. And for the D-backs, it's kind of a crapshoot. You have Ryan Nelson, you have Bryce Jarvis. Of course, the rosters haven't been released yet at the time of recording this. And then even Tommy Henry started pitching off the mound. Henry kind of was ramping up before he had to be out for the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. That might be huge just to pitch 2-3 innings out of the bullpen for the D-backs. Of course, we don't know if he's made the roster yet. So we don't know who those Game 4 starters are. But in the season, Phillies lead the season series 4-3, including a blown game by Jose Ruiz in Philly, where he hit Trey Turner hit a 2-run homer to tie it in the 9th, and then Alec Boehm hit a walk-off single. In the season series, 34 runs were scored by the D-backs, 44 by the Phillies. So obviously the Phillies the Phillies offense is going to be a huge factor in this series. And as I said, we don't really know who the fourth starter is for the D-backs. We're going to assume Gallen and Kelly and Fott games 1, 2, 3. Don't know Game 4. Then 5, 6, 7 will be Gallen, Kelly, and Fott. Like I said, Nelson, Jarvis, Henry could be options. If I'm going to go for it, Ryan Nelson might just be the pick. Try and get him to 6, 7, 8 outs. Then just go straight into the bullpen. Obviously, that'll be tough if Philly gets to Gallen, gets to Kelly, or gets to Fott, but that's what we're going to have to do. We don't really have a 4-starter on this team. Some keys to win. I use this key in the Dodger series as well. Take 1 game in Philadelphia. I use this key in the Dodger series. Of course, they won the first 2 games in LA. That was huge. But as we know, Philly has maybe the biggest home field advantage in all sports. Take 1 game in Philly. If you can take 1 game, flip home field back to Arizona, where after Game 2 you play 3 straight games in Arizona, that will be huge. You got to take 1 game. If you can take 2, that'd be fantastic. But take 1 game in Philadelphia. That's going to be a tough task because obviously we have our 2 aces on the mound. Philly has their 2 aces on the mound, so that'll be a really tough game. Before I go on to that, the Phillies have a 26-11 record at Citizens Bank Park since it opened in 2004 in the playoffs. That's the best record for a home team in the playoffs. That is incredible. So that's, like I said, going to be incredibly tough to try and get a game in Philly, but if you can take 1, that'd be incredible. Another one is stifle the Phillies offense. Of course, we know the Phillies lineup: Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto. It's an incredible lineup. It's going to be hard that Gallen, Kelly, and Fott, and then whoever the 4th starter is, need to try and stifle like they did in the Dodger series, where they stifled Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman to only 1 hit between them. According to StatCast Park Factor, Citizens Bank Park has the 4th highest homer factor, so the percent of homers that is allowed in that ballpark. They're only behind Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati, Dodger Stadium, and Yankee Stadium, so that's huge. The D-backs, that leads me into the next one. Keep hitting homers. Of course, we've seen the D-backs have the same amount of homers as the Phillies. They exploded in that Dodger series, including the 4 home run inning in Game 3. You got to keep hitting homers. That's how you've been able to survive so far. Of course, in the regular season, we didn't really see the D-backs hit that many homers. You got to keep hitting homers if you want to have a chance in this series. Another one, no bulletin board material. We saw it in the Atlanta series. Arcia, after the game where Harper was doubled off first, saying, "Attaboy Harper." Harper next game hits 2 homers. Even the Spencer Strider one, where in an interview on TikTok, he said that he'd wish, in a joking manner, kind of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, said that I wish we would go back to no fans like 2020. And then, of course, when he pitched in Philly, they kind of rattled him. But to give it to Strider, when they were chanting his name, when they were showing the signs, it only seemed to make him more powerful. He pitched really good in that game. This goes back to my first point: survive Philadelphia, one of the toughest home field advantages. If you can survive in Philadelphia, that'd be incredible. It's going to be tough. I expect Game 1 for them to try kind of come out slow, trying to get adjusted to it. Of course, they're going to be heckled. The bullpen guys also going to be heckled, so they just got to survive that, stay mentally tough, and match the Phillies bullpen. Of course, we've seen our bullpen has been incredible. Phillies bullpen has just been just as incredible. Thompson, Sal-Frank, Ginkel, and Sewald need to still be those 4 top guys out of the bullpen, shutting it down. Another key is the top 3 hitters. That's going to be a huge story in the series, is that while the whole entire D-backs offense has been hot, there's been three main guys. I'm going to cut out Ketel Marte, who's also been hot, but I feel like the three main guys have been Carroll, Moreno, and Walker. Carroll with a 1.389 OPS, Moreno with a 1.107 OPS, and Christian Walker 1.023 OPS. And then those aren't even the best guys. Like, there's still so many more guys in that D-backs lineup that have gotten hot. Pham, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Ketel Marte, even Alec Thomas has hit better. Geraldo Perdomo hit that homer to start off the 4-homer inning. So that'll be huge. For Philly particularly, their top three hitters, Castellanos, Turner, and Harper. Castellanos hit 4 homers in 2 of the last games of the division series. Turner's batting .500 with 4 doubles and 2 homers. And, of course, Harper, .368 with 3 homers and a 1.380 OPS. Same with the Phillies, though. Even though they might not be hot, JT Realmuto is still tough. Kyle Schwarber is still tough. Stott and Bohm. And even Rob Thompson hasn't confirmed it yet, but kind of seeming that Rhys Hoskins might be added on the roster after turning his ACL, kind of in the Kyle Schwarber 2016 World Series type vibe. That's going to be tough. You gotta, like the Dodger series, they gave up hits to Will Smith, gave up hits to Chris Taylor, gave up hits to Kike Hernandez, but they were able to not give up any hits to Martinez. Martinez had the homer. Muncy was limited, and of course Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts were very, very limited in that series. So that's got to be huge. The main thing, especially in the games in Philly, do not allow batters on in front of Castellanos, in front of Turner, in front of Harper. If you want to give up a homer, have it be a solo shot. Don't have it be a 2 or 3 run shot where it either gets them back into the game, gets them a bigger lead. That'll be huge in this series. This series is going to be really fun. Even the ALCS, as I'm watching this, as I'm filming this, I'm watching the ALCS right now. Both these series are going to be incredibly fun. I think we're in for a really good series, possibly long series, and even then, any of these World Series matchups would be incredibly fun. I think it's going to be a tough series for the D-backs, but then again, I've said that in the Milwaukee series. I didn't think they were going to get past it. They swept them. I didn't think that they were going to be able to get it done in LA, and they just dominated the Dodgers. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, of course. Philly's a really, really tough team. We saw it last year. They kind of ran over the Padres. I make my own predictions every year just for myself. I thought the Padres were going to kind of maybe win 5-5 against Philly, and Philly kind of just trampled them on their way to the World Series. So you can't be too cautious. Of course, I don't think anybody's cautious with the Phillies team this year. They're probably the hottest team in baseball. Everybody's picking them. That's just more material for the D-backs. Of course, Torey Lovell has talked about keeping receipts. But I think it's going to be fun. I hope they're ready for the moment. It's just good experience for these guys. They made it to NLCS. Corbin Carroll in his first year. A lot of these guys getting their first postseason action, which will be huge for the future. But I think it's going to be a fun series. I think it's going to be really incredible. I hope everybody has fun. If you're going to a game, have fun. Scream your heart out. I want to hear Chase Field loud. Try and match the Philly crowd. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Hit the notifications. Check out my Twitter and my website in the description below. I write a bunch of articles over on my website, and I tweet along with a lot of the Arizona sports games. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and go D-backs.